Anime arena fighters versus traditional 2D and 3D fighting games in terms of competitiveness typically is like explaining various uses of the way we use the alphabet. Generally, anyone that know their ABCs at a young age can put random letters together. But one of the coolest things ever to happen with the alphabet is the spelling bee. The spelling bee rules. Once the speller pronounces the word, he/she has 20 seconds to spell it. The speller spells the word and then signals to the judges that he or she is done spelling by pronouncing the word again. What makes spelling bees interesting is finding out your most optimal way of memorization. In a spelling bee, you can ask multiple questions like 1. Alternative pronunciations, 2. A definition, 3. A part of speech, 4. The language of origin, 5. For the word to be used in a sentence, and 6. For the words to just be pronounced again. The most interesting and challenging part of a spelling bee is when you mess up. Yes, spellers are allowed to restart their words as long as they don't change any other letters they've already spoken. Something that we do daily was made into a competition, is fun and having depth, but also very challenging. Therefore, why many people love traditional 2D and 3D fighting games, while anime arena fighters typically don't do the same in a lot of departments. Wait, yaya, I thought Tekken and Soul Calibur are arena fighters. See, no, not at all. Let me explain this in my way. In a 3D fighter, movement happens in 3 dimensions, and it's done relative to your opponent. In addition to being able to move towards and away from the opponent and jumping up and down, you can sidestep to the left or right of them. Essentially, 3D fighting games play largely within a 2D plane of motion. Anime arena fighters give you full 360 control of your character, letting you move in any way you please. 95% of the time, the camera will always be fixed to the backside of the character. You are using the whole entire match. Now that I got that out the way, this is where it sparked the discussion to make this video. Ask my community tab, what do you dislike about anime arena fighters? I got a comment that said, too much freedom. I was thinking to myself like, bro, so wait, how's that bad? Then it also clicked, anime arena fighters are really unga bunga, aka broken. See, the goal of most of anime arena fighters on a surface level is to capitalize on fan service first rather than competitive balancing. In most cases, once you truly learn any traditional 2D or 3D fighting game, you'll most likely start hating anime arena fighters. Many feel like the gameplay of arena fighters are very tedious, mindless, with a combo structure and execution is just mash one button 5 times and get like half a life bar off of it. It's not fun to many people, and to be honest, I'm personally starting to get tired of it too in some degrees. Generally, most arena fighters from a gameplay design is focused around doing 1 or 2 things super repetitiously and repeatedly. If you ever played a ranked match in an anime arena fighter, as a person who has learned and played a traditional fighting game before, you start to realize that that community has a different mindset from the traditional FGC. In My Hero 1 vs 2, projectiles are really strong if your defense is not good. In the mind of a traditional FGC player, if zoning is working, you keep doing it until you win or it stops working. But if your opponent doesn't know how to get around zoning, why would you stop doing it, especially if they are constantly getting hit by it?
This dude did a 10-hit combo! This dude's doing strings!
Within the anime arena fighter and gaming community, it looked as bad or just cheese and broken for most parts. And you wonder, where did this all happen? How do we get this far into this point? And it all starts with one of the most popular anime arena fighters. Let's talk about Naruto and Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm. The Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series has reached over 10 million sales, while Naruto Storm, which dropped in 2016, currently has over 5.8 million in sales, making it one of the most sold fighting games of the last console generation. I've been playing Naruto Storm since the beginning, since it launched. Played every game, played online. I learned about the cringy clans we had, which I was a part of, which they were really cool to me at the time. I learned about Naruto Storm Generations. I competed with the best of them. I even top 8'd a tournament, which I believe is the best Naruto Storm 4 tournament to this day, without playing Naruto Storm 4 for about 6 months. Yeah, you heard what I just said. That's the problem. Remember what I just said. Many people love this series because it's one of the few anime arena fighters where instead of just focusing about execution, the flashy and graphical fidelity makes up for it. Even though the combos are just mash circle to get damage, one reason why many people love Naruto Storm is the speed of its gameplay. It's honestly one of the most fluid arena fighters besides, in my personal opinion, Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs Maxi Boost, which don't worry, I'll talk about later. One cool mechanic many people don't know about in Naruto Storm is the guarding. I find it cool that guard breaks faster while blocking airborne than it does when stationary on the ground. The problem with Naruto Storm is, oh my god, the Storm's gonna hate me for this one, man, is where some of the tech gets involved. Many of the cool tech things like leader switch mechanics are like one of the quick 3 button presses compared to more traditional fighting games, and the work required to do something cool looks somewhat like this. Also, a lot of the cool things that you see in Storm, depending on who you ask, a lot of people will look at the Storm and be like, yo, he just abusing glitches and stun locks in that game. I ain't getting too deep into that, because that's a very touchy argument. We just gonna say that and leave that alone. Naruto Storm has also been a blessing and a curse to anime games in general. On one hand, it set the standard for many games in the genre to be so high. Storm 4 has over 100 plus playable characters, while having amazing visuals and a fantastic cinematic story mode. However, it set a notion that any game not with 100 plus characters or does not look as good as Storm automatically sucks. Most anime arena fighters feel like, for many, cheaper versions of the Naruto Storm series. It would be a problem for many, but for most, since it doesn't look as good as CC2, they'll forever hate it or claim they are tired of the genre or everything looks the same. The problem is that anime arena fighters are generally low cost and a low budget situation, and also it's safer to just make another arena fighter because you know it's going to sell than go out with a high risk and fail. Bars. Let's talk about one of the more recent arena fighters. Jump Force right now is the most popular current mainstream arena fighter, and the game does well with the characters and fan service, but the gameplay is flawed heavily in my opinion, and I'll break this down why. So let's take my various problems with Jump Force. Number 1, the controls. The controls usually are not really customizable. I really dislike Jump Force making assist and the switch mechanic tie all to L2. If it was like Naruto Storm, at least make the direction flick on an analog stick control letting you use other partners. In Jump Force, you hold down L2 to do assist while having to tap to switch characters. Oh, that's not even to top it off. You can't even control the cycle who you want in the next rotation. You have to manually cycle through all of them every time. Number 2, I also despise how much armor has priority over everything in this game. Like, yeah, in 3D fighting games, you got moves on armor, but in Jump Force, things just last way too long, and it was not like this in the closed beta. I've been spitting this on Twitter. The closed beta of the game was way more fun to me personally than the actual full game. That just never makes sense. This might not just be a Jump Force problem, but many arena fighters does this as well. The way guard break works in games like these irritate me as hell 100%. This is why earlier when I got that comment on Too Much Freedom, I was confused but intrigued. The big misconception with anime game fans is 100% they feel like 2D fighting games restrict them or they cannot move. But to be honest, that can be said of anyone who is not knowledgeable about a type of game. To also be honest, a 2D fighting game fan could also run the same argument for anime arena fighters. In arena fighters, there is no way to execute any specific move in a combo when you want to. Let's go back to Storm right quick. For example, in Naruto Storm, let's take Naruto Uzumaki. You cannot control specific hits of a move in the game at all. For example, if I want to do this move with Naruto's double Rasen Shurikens, I have to always hit circle 6 times, then just to get to this part of the combo. If this was a 2D fighting game, potentially this move would be a DP or a Shoryuken if you just hit the input correctly. This is why everyone wants a Naruto fighters, by the way. At least me. If I want to do this with Naruto Tails hit, if I ever want to get to this part or see this move again, you are always locked in and required to hit circle 5 times before you can even do this move or see this animation. If it was a fighting game in theory, this could have been a Rekka where I could do it anytime if I just input the motion for it twice consecutively. So, if you want to be real with Naruto Storm games, each character has like one special move. 2 if you count certain characters having charged jutsu and ultimate jutsu and 1 tilt. Since most arena fighters don't have normal attacks but are locked in a mad string of hits, this leads to the reason why people also hate anime arena fighters again. Longevity. Yes, even though the Storm community has created its own meta and competitive playstyles, on the surface the gameplay is super simple. If it's super simple for many besides hardcore fans, that's just not enough. They get bored and you drop it off, alright? I'll be honest, I've played Naruto Storm for years, since the beginning, and my attachment to why I stuck with this series so long was because how the games were coming out alongside the anime and manga. Again, I was caught up in the hype, okay? The truth is, anime arena fighters generally are marketed towards younger audiences or teenagers. Most anime fans don't really care if a game is harder, younger, or what the game legit has to offer. Characters for many people matter the most. Legit, I kinda was the same way growing up. If I had Naruto on the cover of Cyberpunk 2077 and I was 12 years old, I would have played it 100% already. Okay? The key question is, are all anime arena fighters like this? No. There's so many different variations, different versions of anime arena fighters. Personally, I recommend a couple arena fighters off the top of my head if you want to learn about these games and what they have to offer with its depth on even a surface level. Kill la Kill If is one of my favorite arena fighters games, anime games, period. It's like one of the dream come true games for me. I love this game a lot. A game that the whole anime gaming community should be playing right now, but y'all not playing. Well, it got everything you want to. Gundam Extreme Maxi Boost Full On is spectacular. This game has tech skill. Everything is on a surface level. You have to learn how to play this game to play the game, okay? Movements is very important as well. You're actually learning how to pilot a Gundam. It's like a dream come true in video game format. It is so cool. I think my only issue with it is that I just haven't watched Gundam, so I don't talk about that game enough to put it on the channel or, you know, do it. But that game is honestly, if not one of the best arena fighters of all time, period. There's also other arena fighters that came on in the past that got criticism for some stuff, but a lot of people generally enjoy. JoJo's All-Star Battle is a very fun arena fighter. The problem with that game is that it's 30 FPS and not 60 FPS. And even though nowadays there is a way to play that game in 60 FPS, if you know what I mean. There's so many different other games. And the problem with anime arena fighters, for most of them, characters and trying to go with style instead of adding substance and quality and depth. And that's generally why people hate anime arena fighters. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second episode of Breakdown on why people hate anime arena fighters and also like why some people do like them. Or at least y'all learned about Naruto today. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, I would love if you guys hit that like button, subscribe. You already know, road to 20K, road to 100K. It's Avataryaya. Yay. Okay, it's yaya. Alright, but remember, follow me on Twitter, avataryayaTV. Join the Discord in the description down below. And remember, you guys are golden, and that is raw. Squalla, peace, and I'm out.
I've been the devil, I need me a arc in the heart of my breathing, I feel like time's right. Walking this bitch with a sound to while she rock it, I keep me a domino. Bitch, I'm a dip and I feel like Kazaki. Stretching that pussy out like it's Pilates. I'm snatching the soul like right out of her body. Fire, I spitting, I feel like Dobby. White bitch, blonde hair, looking like Lucy. She from Kyoshi, I paint her face Suki.